Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1677A, and today's date is September 30th, 2018, and the title of the episode is Central Bankers Scramble, Protect System, Push Tariff, Narrative. Now, before I get started, I just want to make an announcement. I uploaded a new interview with Rob Kirby. It is on the X22 Report Spotlight YouTube channel. So all you need to do is go over to YouTube, type in X22 Report Spotlight. It'll bring you right to the interview. Or you can come over to the X22Report.com site or NewSentinel.com site. Scroll down a little bit, look over to your right-hand side. You can play the interview right on the site. Or go to Steemit, that is Steemit.com/@X22Report, and you can play the interview right on Steemit. Let's get into the economic collapse financial news. Now, the people of the United States and around the world, and this happened at different times, we've been under the power of the central bank. They've been controlling the country. They've been dictating how our financial system should work and how it should look and what we should believe. And they've been doing this for quite a while. Now, during this period, their economic system always breaks down. This is the way their system works. It's designed not to last past 35, 40 years. And then all of a sudden it crashes. Yes, they can manipulate it to keep it going a little bit longer. But eventually what's going to happen is the economic system, it just will not operate anymore. Of course, they can manipulate the statistics. They can make the stock market look great. All the numbers look great. But if the underlying economic system is not working, those numbers are meaningless. If people are out of jobs and people can't purchase things, it doesn't matter if the stock market goes up to 100,000, because people will realize at that point there's something wrong. That's what we're approaching right now. And we know from the past that they like to have some type of an event like a war to cover up everything, to explain away why you can't get certain products, why the economic system is breaking down, why the governments have to print more money or just push a button and have the electronic money, just come into the system. And now they don't have that. And this is a huge, huge problem for them. So what they're doing is they're using what Trump is doing at this point. And what is that? Trade wars, tariff. And of course, what Trump is doing, he's building the economy up, making it look like it is absolutely fantastic. So they can't turn around and say, yeah, your tariffs broke the system. But that's not going to stop them. You have to understand their goal is to get around this. They don't want to be blamed for this, especially the Bank of International Settlement, the IMF. I believe the Fed right now is working with Trump, not the entire Fed. Yes, we still have deep state swamp creatures within every organization, but the control of the organization, I believe, is now on the same page as Trump. And this is why we're continually seeing them raising the rates. Trump is out there criticizing the Fed for raising the rates, and this is what he's done in the past. And this is a game or a strategy that he uses to convince the mainstream media and the rest that, yeah, I never really wanted this. But in reality, this is exactly what they wanted. So right now, U.S. retailers, and we talked about this before, they're saying that this holiday season, because of the tariffs, that prices on certain products are going to go up. And after the holiday season, it's going to get worse. So what they're doing right now is they're projecting that this holiday season is not going to be that great. Now, we've seen in the past, and we've been following the economy for a very long time, every holiday season has gotten worse and worse and worse. Now they have the tariffs to blame for this disastrous holiday season. And it looks like that's what they're going to do. Actually, we have the Target CEO, Walmart out there, and the rest saying, this is going to be a complete and utter disaster. And they're warning everyone that it's because of the tariffs. Now, we have to understand how we got to this point. Remember, the central bank system declines over time. The reason why they had to move all manufacturing and the production of goods out of this country and import them back into the country is because as the dollar loses value, it takes more dollars to buy the same product. If they kept the manufacturing within this country, these products would be out of reach for every single person in this country. So what did they have to do? they had to move manufacturing out of this country to very, very cheap labor areas. And that would be China, the emerging markets. And they did this on purpose because their system does not last forever. It comes to an end. And during this period of time, the system breaks down. And if people noticed the system breaking down and people couldn't afford these products, everyone would notice that it was the Fed. It was their system. Why is this happening? And they can't correct it. See, this is the biggest problem. There's no way for them to correct this at all. So they had to move all manufacturing out of this country. And actually what was going to happen over time is that the United States would have no manufacturing and we would be brought down to the level of other countries. We also would no longer be the reserve currency of the world. And this was their plan. Now, over time, they moved a lot of manufacturing out of this country so people wouldn't notice what was really going on. Yes, the value of the dollar was still continually decreasing, but we can see it in different areas. I mean, we could see that the housing prices were astronomically high. College tuition was astronomically high. To cover that up, what they do? You can take out loans for that. Automobiles, you can take out loans. But what happened with automobiles? In the beginning, you started with cash. Then you went to financing. Then they had to extend the financing terms. Then you had to go to leasing. So you can see how it was all breaking down over time. Real estate is a little bit trickier right now because real estate, houses go up, people feel comfortable when the prices go up because they have the appreciation in the homes. But what happens is it gets out of the reach of everyday people, especially those people who are graduating college, getting a job, or now they can't get a job because the economy is not doing that well, or they get a low-paying job, and then you start to notice that people aren't really purchasing homes. So they had to manipulate this also, where they brought down the interest rates to almost zero to allow investors to come in, foreign buyers to come in, and it looks like this is coming to an end. If they continued with this approach, the entire system would just implode on itself because people would continually lose jobs. We'd have no manufacturing here, and everyone would blame the Fed because the system just came to a screeching halt. And they didn't want this to happen. So when Trump came into office, what did they do? They started to raise the interest rates because they thought they were going to use this plan to blame it on Trump. Trump took over what they were doing, made the economy look fantastic, and now they're in trouble. But they're still trying to push their agenda. If we look at the housing market right now, we see already the housing market is starting to roll over. Mortgage rates are hitting a 7-year high. I mean, they're up to 4.72%. Last time we saw that was back in, 2012, 2013, around that area. And before that period was right before the housing market came down. And as they continually move up, guess what? It's going to get worse and worse because it's going to push a lot of people out of the market. People are going to take their homes off the market. And borrowing costs, they get more and more expensive as time goes on. And they know this. It's just a matter of time. And this is why they're pushing the idea that it's all about the tariffs, which is completely fake, false, and phony because we've known from the past that it's their system that is breaking down. And they have no other way to explain why the system is breaking down. Especially when Trump took the economy, manipulated a lot of the numbers, which they've already been doing. He just took what they took, just what they had before, took it and manipulated to the nth degree to make it look really, really great. This way they couldn't say anything about it. But they're using the retailers right now to say, oh, look what's happening. It's because of the tariffs. This is why retail's breaking down. Think about what they've done in the past. They started out with the weather. This is why retail's breaking down. They used that for like 2 years or so, 2-3 years. And then they went on to online sales. Now they're on tariffs. I mean, just think of each phase that they've been using to explain why retail is not doing well. Remember, if everything just moved to online, we would see online equal to what was lost in the brick and mortar business. But we don't see that. Remember, this is a $1 trillion business. But we don't see that at all. So what's happening right now is they're trying to spin the narrative. They're scrambling. They're stuck. They don't know what to do. And it looks like the Patriots right now have full control of the narrative. They have full control of what's going to happen. Remember, everything is interlinked. It's the deep swamp, the central bank, this economy that they're running. It's not a people's economy. And right now, they are losing control. It's slipping through their fingers, and they know it. But we're going to have to go through this transition. Remember, we're coming out of this ridiculous central banking system that doesn't benefit the people at all, moving into a people system. And yes, there's going to be bumps along the way, and you need to be prepared for these bumps. You need food, water, supplies, gold, silver, cryptos, cash on hand, because in the beginning you're going to be using cash. As the cash inflates, you will use that first. You'll hold on to your gold and silver. That's your insurance policy. That is your wealth. You might even switch into cryptocurrency because as the manipulation goes away, you might be able to use cryptocurrency at that time. Maybe a lot of businesses will start taking cryptocurrency. Maybe you'll have to use bartering to say, I'll give you 2 rolls of toilet paper for that food, because credit most likely will freeze up. We will have problems in the economy. And we saw it back in the 70s. Couldn't get fuel. A lot of people out of work. Interest rates were very, very high because they were printing money like crazy. Everything wasn't stabilized yet until like the late 70s going into the 80s. And we're going to have that period of time. It's going to be a little rough. And that was a system within our system. This is going to be a system outside of our system. So get prepared, get ready. We're going to be going through this transition. And the central banks are going to do whatever they possibly can to try to regain the narrative. But I don't think they're going to be able to do this. I think it's too late. And I think patriots right now have the control. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.